Premier Bowl is race number 7. If you want to learn a little bit more about it as well, you can go to the website, hkjc.com. Multimedia Showcase on HK Direct this week. Ed Sadler has Umberto Rispoli as his special guest who'll ride Magic Legend in the sprint and, of course, Joyful Trinity in the mile race as well. So an insight from Umberto. Premier Bowler Group 2 over the 1,200 metres, headed by Mr. Stunning, who is behind Dashing Fellow on his return. The Wizard of Oz, he's first up, and joint top-rated horse here in Hong Kong. Lucky Bubbles, Group 1 course and distance, his last start last season. We've got Amazing Kids, who was runner-up in this race last year, also behind Dashing Fellow. He was a bit of a surprise winner that day. DB Pin coming out that way, Fabulous One, Magic Legend, and Strathmore as well. They all go round once more. We've made our way to the touchscreen here to have a look at the speed map and some of the key races as well. And Brad, as we pick it up, Fabulous One, we imagine will push forward, Magic Legend as well. Maybe the query horse, DB Pin, who's drawn wide, won't want to be out there really. No,
he potentially could push on, no doubt, Andrew. I agree with the pace of the race. I think it could be good because Fabulous One, the horse here, I think he'll find the front and he's just going to jump, he's going to run, he doesn't go slow. So the pace is good, but the changes for me, I think Dashing Fellow here, who of course came from off the speed last start, I don't think he can hold out Not Listening to Me. I've got them switched around, and potentially even Strathmore maybe to try and push up. That might leave Mr. Stunning here a little bit sort of wide, and Penophobia potentially trying to push outside of Fabulous One. Magic Legend gets caught 3 deep. So for me, there's a little bit of a scenario there maybe after 100 or 200, and the key horse to that scenario is Dashing Fellow. Whether or not he can hold a spot on the back of the speed, I'm suggesting he probably can't, and even Lucky Bubbles back here might try and sort of get in front. I sort of think Dashing Fellow might end up back here, and that would have Lucky Bubbles obviously potentially in a really good spot, and the Wizard of Oz will be trying to stay there too. So for me, Fabulous One guaranteed leader. Dashing Fellow holds the key. If he can kick up, it makes it difficult for some of the others. If he can't, they get their lovely runs.
All right.
Yeah, well, I think whatever happens, your Lucky Bubbles and the Wizard of Oz will benefit.
Yeah, they're just going to sit back and then try and close in late.
Right. Mr. Stunning's going well in his track work. You can see him on screen there now. It's a nice piece from him as he comes down 400 metres. But he's nice and relaxed. He's come on well since his last run as well. And he's a little bit better in the weights with some of these good horses. Wizard of Oz is a joint top weight as well. And his trial was very good. We'll be seeing that shortly. And his track work, just nice and relaxed, as most John Sizer's horses are in the morning, just doing what he has to do, and he's doing it nicely. Lucky Bubbles, down the back straight, he's really quite keen here. It's only an even time, but you can see he really wants to get on with the job as well, and not a bad piece of work from him. I'm going to show a few bits of track work here, just all the main protagonists. Here's Not Listening to Me now working with Dashing Fellow, and I thought it was a really nice piece of Not Listening to Me. Tommy Berry aboard as well. Dashing Fellow, as you mentioned, Brett, he's just been pushed a little bit there as well in this particular piece of work. And the last piece I'm going to show you is Strathmore. I thought this is a really nice gallop from him down the front straight. And when he was asked to pick up, he picked up immediately and hit the line. So maybe he's back to some of that form we saw behind Chautauqua a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah.
He's a dangerous one, isn't he, off a light weight?
His best run, he's right in this, but...
That's right.
Yeah,
well, he ran third
behind
behind Chautauqua, and Lucky Bubbles was second, and Amazing Kids was fourth in that Chairman Sprint Prize Paul was referring to.
All right, well, let's start off with having a let's look down the straights is where we'll kick things off. And, well, obviously, the winner, Dashing Fellow, caught a few of us out. Well, he certainly caught me out. Anyway, 9 of the 11 runners in this field, so we're not going to highlight them all. But just as a point of reference, Mr. Stunning was favourite for this race. I didn't think it was a bad run, just weekends out of it. And Not Listening to Me, of the big guns, he fares best in second place.
I thought it was a terrific run from Not Listening to Me. As you've highlighted there, Andrew, he comes through that middle part of the track with the eventual winner in Dashing Fellow, who was certainly, I think, aided by the little bit of rain that was around on the day. Ultimately, 1,400 metres has been his perfect distance, so he just jumped out of his skin here, and I think the cushion in the track helped him.
Oh, definitely, and I think it didn't help some of the others. Mr. Stunning and Fabulous One just dropping off a bit. Amazing Kids went well. It wasn't a bad run from him, as you mentioned.
Yeah, but, I mean, all bar Jet Wings, they all line up again, and look, I mean, they're just right across the track.
Yeah, it wasn't much between them.
Not much in it.
No. So, whoever you like there, you can make your winning
I think
argument.
the barrier draw, as we looked at with the speed map before, probably suits Mr. Stunning a little bit better than some of the others. And not listening to me from 4 should get every conceivable chance.
Zach Purton said that Lucky Bubbles might be just come down to who gets the best run in the race. This is him trialling his first up, and we know what he did at the back end of last year.
Yeah, barrier 7 is, you know, has got the little potential to be a bit awkward, but with that pace in the race, if he can just slot him behind their pacemakers, he can get a really nice run.
Last year, he actually went almost back to last, came with a big swooping run to win the race, and amazing kids came from well back as well to cut through late and run second. They got over aero velocity. Terrific trial. I said on Wednesday night, I think Lucky Bubbles can potentially go right through unbeaten, but this is the race he has to win first for me to be convinced that that can be the case, because it's at handicap conditions. I think when they go to the set weights, he might be the measuring stick. Francis Loy hasn't had that many sort of Group 1 horses. I think this is his season, Lucky Bubbles. Obviously, the Wizard of Oz could be the little glitch pin.
Or Mr Stunning. Or...
Oh, I think he's got Mr Stunning covered, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
OK. All right. Well, Mr Stunning's trainers, John Say's got 4 in the race. Let's find out about them.
John, looking at the Premier Bowl, Mr Stunning, what did you think of his first up run?
His first start was good, rain affected track, but he seemed to, begin smartly, and he was very keen to race. The middle section was pretty quick, so he's got that out of his system, and I think he had, pretty good experience, so he should improve on that.
Were you happy with his barrier trial?
Yeah, he trialled nicely. Again, he sort of began well, and he was nice and relaxed and settled throughout the trial. And then the last bit of the trial, when the horses come around him, he was a bit keen. But I think all the signs look fine to me.
The Wizard of Oz must have been very satisfying for you to get that win towards the end of last season, after he's obviously had a number of issues throughout his career.
Yeah, he hasn't had a perfect preparations in the last couple of years, but now I think he's okay. His win at 1400 metres was very impressive, carrying that weight, but now he's got to be into Group 1s and set races. His life becomes more difficult, but he's certainly promising to do more.
Is he just as effective over 1200?
I think that his record says, and his last performance says, that 1400 is an ideal distance for him. But we'll have to work with what we've got. He's in a 1200 metre race. If it's fast run, well, he'll probably come into it pretty strongly at the finish. And with 1600 metre races, well, he's probably doubtful at the journey. So he's just one of those 1400 metre horses that will have to live with the system.
What about Amazing Kids and DB Pin both coming out of the National Day Cup as well?
Amazing Kids didn't have a long preparation or a lot of work going into the first race, so it was problematical whether he'd come out of it well. But at home, he's done extremely well since the race, so I'm not concerned about him. I think he'll run well again. And DB Penn has got a bit of an awkward draw, to say the least, but if the first 2 or 3 horses can run along and show their natural speed, he'll probably get over there running 3rd or 4th, and hopefully just one off the fence.
Wizard of Oz has come up shortest in the market, but I couldn't put you off any of Size's runners, really.
No, I mean, they're all quality horses, and there may not be a huge amount between sort of 4 or 5 of them, but for me, Lucky Bubbles, this is his season to shine, and the Wizard of Oz has got that sort of untapped ability that we haven't seen yet. Mr Stunning's a quality animal himself, so we're going to learn a lot more.
Yeah, but the Wizard of Oz is a little bit like Gold Fun, a 1400 metre specialist that we saw a few seasons ago, but he's fresh up over 12, I think he's going to run a big race.
Yeah, well, Able Friend cut down Gold Fun 2 years ago in this race, so...
All right, we're going to learn a lot, Paul, but who wins on Sunday?
I'm going to go with the Wizard of Oz. I just think with a fastly run race, he can finish over the top. Really like him, and he's a good horse to beat Lucky Bubbles, who's done nothing wrong, but he's going to come up a lot shorter, Lucky Bubbles. So I think the value's more with the Wizard of Oz. Mr Stunning will run a good race, and Fabulous One from the front. I think he can be there for a long period of the race and try and sort of dictate a little bit. So 2, 3, 1 and 9, but at the prices, the Wizard of Oz, I think, is a really good price.
Yep, I like Lucky Bubbles for for the series going into the Jockey Club Sprint and then the International Sprint. But here I'm going to go with the Wizard of Oz. I think he might just swoop with Lucky Bubbles together, And he's had the one more trial, the Wizard of Oz, as opposed to Lucky Bubble. So 2 to beat 3. The one they'll have to cut down is Mr. Stunning. And not listening to me, I think he'll run particularly well and give you a very good sight at a price of, what price is he at the moment? $8. So I went to 1, 2, 3, 5 Tierce. I think they'll run first, second, third, those 4.
Mr. Stunning for me. Looks like we're going to get a good price as well as Moreira's jumped off. Nashua Willa will jump on. That's the first of the Group 2 features. The second one, we see the return of Werther, who finished last season with a bang. Beauty Generation surprised a few first up. Booming Delight had a great year himself last year, behind Beauty Generation last time out. Could it be Western Express and Moreira once more? Or Beauty only? Last year's HKIR Mile Champion.